So, in case you missed it, 1010 Games are making a Funko Pop themed video game, and I'm not gonna lie, this could quite possibly be one of the most underrated, slept on releases of 2024. Now, I'm sure if you have clicked on this video, you're obviously aware of what a Funko Pop is, and again, there's literally a Funko Pop version of virtually everything in the world. Essentially, they're little sort of figures that people display, and for some reason hate taking out the box. Maybe it's just me. I like getting mine out and showing them. What can we say? You buy the thing, you want to show it. Anyway, when it comes to an actual video game surrounding these things, I think it is something which has caused a little bit of skepticism. However, when you just take the general concept of it, it's essentially loads of different IPs, which obviously Funko have the rights to, smashed together in the form of a video game. And although that's not a revolutionary concept, it's definitely something that we know can work when you look at the likes of Super Smash Bros., particularly when those concepts and those different IPs do mend and mesh well. Now, from what we have seen so far in terms of gameplay and trailers, I do genuinely think that that is the case. There looks to be a good blending of the different environments. Obviously, when it comes to games like this, there is a massive amount of member berries and nostalgia, and realistically, if you're interested in these IPs, that's exactly what you're looking for. So, myself, for example, I absolutely fucking adore Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, and basically any Edgar Wright film that's there, so I'm lucky that there's 3 of them. But the fact that you've got scenes directly from those movies, basically intertwined into a video game that you can experience yourself, is so cool. Now, from the trailers and gameplay, what we have seen so far itself, to me, this game feels as if it's going to almost be like an evolved Lego game, with a mixture of almost, and this is a bit of an outside shout if you've not played it, a little bit of a cartoony sort of Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare vibe. Now, I'm massive fans of both of these. Again, it's clearly a third-person action shooter, and there's some puzzle aspects in there as well, which again really does sort of replicate those old Lego games. They've even got their own like in-game currency and things like studs, or the equivalent of studs, which is honestly quite cool. Obviously, with a game of this magnitude and all of the IPs that are there and available, and again, let's just quickly run through some. Obviously, as I've mentioned, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Scott Pilgrim, you've got Invincible, Jurassic Park, Battlestar Galactica, The Thing, Back to the Future, Walking Dead's in there, He-Man. There's so much cool shit in this game. It's almost nigh impossible to not be a fan of at least one of the featured IPs in here. So in theory, there really should be something for everyone, which again is good. That's the type of thing you want, and it also opens up the opportunity to learn more about other IPs that you might not have previously known about. I'm presuming that different characters will have different abilities, sort of in line with their iconic roles, right? I know we've seen a little bit of trailers. Number 5 from the Umbrella Academy is like teleporting around the room. Now, I'm hoping that this is an ability specifically attached to him and other characters, because that, again, once again, almost linking into those old Lego games, that would make the sandbox of all of these characters and just basically make everybody usable within the world, right? You don't want to just constantly use your favourite character, give them all the abilities and just run through everything. You want to be able to use the diverse range of characters that you have available to you. Now, if this is the case, it obviously does open up a lot of replay value. Now, just sort of touching on the narrative side of things, the story itself does kind of look like nothing. It's just basically there's an evil Eddie Funko Pop which wants to take over the world and make things in his own image. Not exactly a riveting story, but let's be real. If you're playing a game like this to be thrilled narratively, this probably isn't the game for you, right? So this game is going to be, as we've sort of mentioned, pure member berries and nostalgia for those respective IPs. I do like how it does seem to be infecting sort of the bad guys of these IPs. Obviously, we all know the Thing itself is an alien thing, and it seems to, this evil Freddy Funko has obviously infected that. Frank Butterman from Hot Fuzz also seems to be sort of an evil version in this game. So it is cool, it almost does loosely track to the source material. I mean, you can also say that the same thing with like the FNAF characters that are shown at the end of the trailer, right? There is clearly some form of continuity with the original IPs, which again is very, very nice to see. So fingers crossed there is a level of replayability to this game through using all of these different IPs for whatever their various abilities might be. Again, if you're a little bit of an achievement hunter like myself, you might have to play through it and get all the collectibles or all the chests and things. We've seen there's clearly a lot of collectibles in the game. There's going to be a lot of characters to unlock. Presumably it would be sort of through this vinyl system as the currency. So ultimately there should be a lot here for players to go through and collect. It does go without saying though that when it comes to a Funko Pop game, their art style, and I'm talking about the real life things, let alone in the video game, is timeless. Like, it's classic. So when you've got those visuals that we're seeing in the trailer, like, they look no different to what you'd expect a Funko Pop game to be. And again, it's drawing elements of that very bright, very colourful, very childlike Plants vs Zombies, Lego Star Wars-y sort of vibe that we touched on earlier, which for me is a type of game I absolutely love. And you've almost meshed elements of different realities and different worlds all together into this lovely, beautiful, bright and vibrant, almost childlike world. That to me is so, so cool. Something which was particularly interesting about this game, which again they haven't really shown too much in gameplay, but they did discuss, I believe at San Diego Comic-Con, was that this game enables you, and I'm quoting here, to build the neighborhood of your dreams using whatever IPs you like. Now, to me, I immediately get vibes of, like, I don't know, like Disney Dreamlight Valley or some shit, where you can like build your own little village, your own little community. You could have like Sean living in a house next to, I don't know, Omni-Man from Invincible. Like, stuff like that to me is just so cool because it adds an element of uniqueness and creativity for the player, which again, when you've got all of these different IPs, you could create your own little world, your own little masterpiece, and that to me in itself is so exciting. Now, if this game is even moderately successful, which honestly I am hoping it is, I feel like you could see so much added to this. Like, the sphere of what they could do is almost limitless with it, just based upon the amount of IPs and sort of collaborations that Funko have done previously. You could bring in so many different audiences by just putting in their favourite movie or their favourite show, or just some sort of reference or hinting to it, which again would not only elevate the game itself and elevate the player count, but also enable for new things to be put into the game, DLC levels, etc. I don't know if they've mentioned anything about potentially having a season pass or anything like that. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if it would be almost a cosmetic thing, just because there's about 8,000 of the same Funko Pop, so they'll probably have something like that in there. But overall, I'm genuinely very excited about what this game could be. I think it's a very, very slept-on game and has really gone under the radar for a lot of people, myself included until very recently when I saw Sean bashing zombies' heads in. But let me know what you guys think down below. If you are new here, please do consider subscribing. We do try and cover a lot of gaming stuff, or just, to be honest, the stuff I find interesting about games at the minute. And yeah, thank you ever so much for watching.